Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Carly, I guess heating up is a good way to put it. A bit of almost a dust up on the diamond there last night.
Yes, a bit of a dust up almost indeed. Some good highlights to show everybody. Lots of pitches thrown. We're going to have to stay tuned for sports about see if there are any punches thrown though.
All right. And I guess they were able to play anyways. They managed to get enough sunshine to play last night. But what are we looking forward to, Shauna?
Well, we've got some good sunshine on the way. How much? I'll have more details later. But as we take a look now across Lloydminster, the sun is shining and we're 21 degrees. In the Lakelands and Battlefords, very similar, lots of sunshine and 22 degrees. So, like I said, there's sun. How long is it going to stay? I'll have your full weather forecast coming up a little later on.
Luckily, no one was injured in an early morning vehicle fire 8 miles south of Lone Rock. The Britannia Wilton Fire Department attended the blaze just before 7 a.m. today. They arrived to find a tractor trailer engulfed in flames. Crews stopped the fire from spreading to the trailer portion, but the tractor was damaged beyond repair. The cause of the fire is currently unknown and under investigation. Edmonton's International Airport announced yesterday that it's going to raise its improvement fee by $5 to a total of $25. Robert Buffum explores whether a similar increase might be in the works for Lloydminster.
Edmonton passengers will pay $5 more to fly out of the international airport starting in January, a fee that's going towards an expansion project. But passengers fearing a similar hike in Lloyd can rest easy.
We have no intention at this time, and I believe they probably never will increase it.
Currently, you only pay a $5 improvement fee to use this airport, one of the lowest rates in the country. FARS acknowledges basic airport maintenance is expensive.
Crack filling every year is minimum $15,000.
And he admits a higher improvement fee could be put towards serious safety concerns, like building a protective fence around the airport, something they've been trying to get funding for from Transport Canada. This is one of several spots around the runway where there's absolutely no fencing. According to FROZ, there's been a bunch of instances where wildlife have nearly been hit by a landing plane, including a time 2 weeks ago when 2 coyotes were on the runway, and another time about 4 years ago when 44 deer were on the runway just as a plane was making its landing. After 8 years of bureaucratic red tape, the city, which runs the airport, has decided to pay for the cost of the fence, projected at close to $1.5 million, with taxpayers' money instead.
We were just tired of applying for funding and decided to go this route.
Given the need for some improvements, potential flyers we spoke with thought a bump to airport fees makes sense.
They charge you more for roads and everything else too, so they might as well do what's in there, $25 if it's going to improve service, everything else.
Wouldn't hurt to upgrade, and if that's what you have to do do that, then for sure.
I've never actually used the Lloydminster Airport, so they probably could use some improvements.
And FARS agrees some improvements are needed, including better technology for landing in bad weather, something that could attract larger airlines and more passengers to the airport. But for the time being, the airport will make do with the resources they have. Robert Buffum, Newcap News.
The sun is shining once again at the Country Trailer Park south of St. Paul. Back in April, the residents were all given 30 days to vacate the site. But as Clayton Brown explains, a company in Edmonton has bought the property and the families will be allowed to stay.
Ken Foy says a weight has been lifted off his shoulders. On Monday, Ken and the other families living in the trailer park got confirmation the property they're living on has been sold to a real estate agency in Edmonton and they won't be evicted.
It's a big relief for everybody out here. We've all been sitting on pins and needles for so long, and even prior to our eviction, it's been kind of destituted out here. Like we've seemed like we've been kind of forgotten out here, so it's kind of nice.
Since the end of April, everyone in the trailer park has been uncertain whether they'd be allowed to continue to live there after the previous owner defaulted on the mortgage, and each family was issued a 30-day eviction notice.
We checked to see if we could find a place to move our trailer to from Cold Lake to the other side of Edmonton, and we found nothing, absolutely zero. So that kind of stressed us out.
The new landowners have already sent representatives to check out the area, and they've vowed to fix up the property. One of the upgrades mentioned is a new playground, among other things.
They've sent an electrician out to evaluate all the power and all the lines and everything. They've checked out the well house and the well, and one updated with the softener and stuff like that.
More trailers will be moved in for rent or sale by the new owners. In St. Paul, Clayton Brown, Newcap News.
Elected officials in Lloydminster will be adding an extra year to their term after the next civic election. Saskatchewan is in the process of changing its Local Government Elections Act to provide 4-year tenures for elected officials in municipalities. Since Lloydminster follows the Saskatchewan election calendar, the city needed to fall in line with the new schedule. So council passed a resolution to adopt the 4-year term.
If you think of the bigger projects, bigger dollars, how long it takes, you're getting 12 more months of actual productivity now out of council.
Mulligan thinks there are some benefits to having that extra year.
You look at some of the big projects we do, they take 3, 4, and 5 years from conception to even getting a shovel in the ground sometimes. So I believe with the bigger dollars, the bigger cost to run a campaign, the cost to the city, the municipality, the extra year is a good thing. But it is going to demand a bigger commitment from anybody who wants to run.
And council says the new 4-year stretch will start after the 2012 civic election. The fierce storm that tore through our city last week, it not only flattened some buildings, but also toppled over some of our oldest giants. Like matchsticks, evergreens, and other trees are still littered everywhere on lawns and fields. Kathy Lee tells us what the plan of action for cleanup is.
That's incredible.
Dwayne Jenkins was away when the storm hit last week, but he got the memo about the fallen tree almost immediately.
I received a voicemail saying that my Christmas tree had fallen down, so I was wondering what I was going to be doing with it.
Still, when Jenkins came home, he was shocked to see the 50-foot tree lying on its side, just inches behind his house.
Well, it took out the fence, and as you can see that the front there along the boulevard just ripped it right out of the ground, so the fence is the main part of it. Yeah, also the line that the cable line is also gone too.
This tree was planted on public property, so it's the city's responsibility to chop it down and clean it up. If it had been planted on the owner's property, they would have to get rid of it themselves.
So what they would have to do is contact one of the tree removal services, and if they don't know who those services are, they can go to the yellow pages, and there are probably half a dozen that listed there, and choose one that's appropriate.
Coleman says the number of trees fallen on city property is more than they anticipated, so crews are out busy doing what they can.
Trees that are on city property, they're being looked after right now. In fact, a lot of our projects have been put on hold in order to get those trees removed.
Jenkins' landlord has already started cutting down the tip of the tree while they wait for the city to do the rest. Despite some damages, Jenkins says he's lucky the tree didn't hit the house.
This property is surrounded by trees, so yeah, it could have been any one of them that could happen, and could have been a lot more damage than there is here.
Kathy Lee, Newcap News.